Good afternoon, miners. Today is Friday, May 15th. I'm Andrew, and this is the Miner Morning Show.
Eleanor, come on in.
Hey everybody. Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Hey miners, I hope you are all doing well in quarantine. I'm Eden. I'm going to give you some of my movie ratings that I've been watching. First off, there's The Forest. This is just weird, and it's kind of a scary movie, but I like scary movies, so I like it. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Next, there's Horse Girl. This I just watched because of the name, and it was actually not that bad. It was kind of weird at the end when she levitated, but rather than that, it was good. And I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 as well. So this movie I didn't realize was a documentary. This is the worst movie I've ever watched. It's a negative infinity out of 10. So this movie was good. It wasn't another kind of scary movie. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, just because it was kind of weird. So this is The Black Coat's Daughter. This was unnecessarily confusing, and for that reason I give it a 0 out of 10. So this is The Ring, and it was confusing at some parts, so I would give it a 6 out of 10. So those are my recommendations. I hope you watch them.
Hey, they're my aspen trees. Don't eat those.
Hey miners, it's Lauren. Today I have a special guest,
Ryan!
and we did some cool jump rope tricks.
And we're gonna show you guys, so here you go. 8.
Getting shown up by an 8-year-old.
Hey miners! So today we're just going to be looking at some events that happened in the past this week. Now, starting off on May 11th, May 11th, 1969, during the Vietnam War, there was a battle called Hamburger Hill, and it was the Americans attempting to seize a mountain called Dong Ap Bia Mountain. They scaled the hill over 10 days and engaged in bloody combat with the North Vietnamese, finally capturing the mountain, but eventually abandoning the position, and the North Vietnamese retook the mountain shortly after. Now, moving on to May 12th, on 1949, Soviet Russia lifted its blockade of Berlin. And if you don't know, the blockade began on June 24th, 1948, and resulted in the Berlin airlift. For 462 days, from June 26, 1948, until September 30th, 1949, American and British planes flew about 278,000 flights, delivering 2.3 million tons of food, coal, and medical supplies to 2 million isolated West Berliners. And a plane landed in Berlin every minute from 11 Allied staging areas in West Germany. The planes were nicknamed candy bombers after pilots began tossing sweets to children. They also flew out millions of dollars worth of products manufactured in West Berlin. This was a heavy blow to Soviet Russia because it showed that they were vulnerable on the public stage, and thus continued and started and continued from then on the Cold War. Now, let's go to May 13th on 1943. During World War II in North Africa, over 250,000 Germans and Italians surrendered in the last few days of the Tunis campaign. British General Harold Alexander then telegraphed news of the victory to Winston Churchill, who was in Washington attending a war conference. And the victory reopened Allied shipping lanes in the Mediterranean, and thus furthering Allied victories in the African region. May 14th, 1607, was the first permanent English settlement in America in Jamestown, Virginia, by a group of royally chartered Virginia Company settlers from Plymouth, England. This helped start the whole colonization of North America, and eventually, over 100 years after 1607, led to the beginnings of the United States of America. So that's kind of crazy. And finally, May 15th, 1972, George Wallace was shot while campaigning for presidency in Laurel, Maryland, and as a result, Wallace was permanently paralyzed from the waist down. So, that was a little, that was a sad note to end on. So, to bring up the mood a little bit, things are improving, and things were kind of bad in the past, as you may have heard from these past events, from World War II to all the way to the Vietnam War. So we can get through this, and these past events just give us a glimpse at like some of the bad and the good and everything else in between that has happened between, well, the start of man till May 15th, 2020.
Hi miners, it's Katie. I just wanted to give you guys an update on my life this past week. This past week, the main difference in my life has been studying for AP tests. I know a lot of kids had an AP test this week, but my AP tests are all next week. I have been studying on a website called albert.io and kind of reviewing and doing practice tests. But I recommend, if your teachers have provided a question assignment kind of that allows you to post a question that your whole class can see and the teacher will answer, I would highly recommend, if you have any questions, posting it in that before you have your AP test. My other main difference in my home is that my sister has begun her summer classes. She goes to the U, and because her classes were canceled, they are providing summer classes. So she's basically turned my downstairs into an art studio, which is cool, but it smells like paint and I cannot watch TV down there anymore. So I hope all of you guys do well on your AP tests and are staying healthy and safe.
Hope you all doing well. For this week's Minor Morning Show, I wanted to show you guys some of the shoes that I make and all that. So here we are. So this one I made around February, January. It was like, I don't know, I don't remember what number shoe it was, but it's this just slip-on Van with a little sunset with snow glow. The back's just got a VW on it for my initials, and you got the white trees, black mountain lion, sunset, and then if you can see a little bit, it's got like white little snows. But, you know, I liked it. And then this was like the second shoe I made. It's just a Van, not a slip-on, but one of their oldies, I forget what it's called, but it's got a little palm tree sunset with a color variation. And then the back of the LA skyline. It's kind of fading off, I gotta redo it. And then the newest shoe I'm doing, I haven't made that much touches to them, but I just got the elephant print right here touched up, and then the back here, but hopefully do a bunch more logo stuff like that. But those are just some of them. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Stay safe out there, miners, and see you next time.